Hello, hello, hello. Have you got me now? Well, that was weird. My microphone was not working. I do apologise for that. But there we go. You get these little problems when you're broadcasting live. Why have I moved suddenly? Let's move myself. Oh, that's why, because I've got me monitor all out of whack. Now I've got to put myself back into alignment. There we go. Just get enough of the bald head out of the way. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another Hookster Talks with me, and of course, everyone's favourite, Mr. TB the Bear, everyone's favourite bear, and number one Lewis Hamilton fan. Yes, and he is ecstatic for what happened at Monaco, aren't you? It's ecstatic. Lulu came second. Lulu came second. That's not what Kim says. Boom, boom, Basil, boom, boom. There we go. Yes, he's well happy now, aren't you? Yes, what's this? Lewis Hamilton for the championship. I don't know about that. There's a young charger who's only 19 years old, who might have something to say about that. But who knows? Who knows? Anyway, hello everybody, and welcome to the show, as Mr. Failrace says every single time. Let's go to some F1 news before we kick off. Just wait for everyone to appear. And we're going back to the Felipe Massa drama story. Yes. If anyone's not familiar with this, Felipe Massa did a lawsuit against the FIA and Bernie Ecclestone for 64 million, I think it's dollars, 64 million, it's pounds actually, according to this, pounds, against Formula One because of the 2008 World Championship. Now, unfortunately, the judge decided 64 million was far too much, but he did award Felipe Massa £250,000. But now, this is the twist. Now Bernie Ecclestone and Formula One management are now going to court to appeal against paying Felipe Massa that £250,000. Lewis Hamilton's first F1 World Championship became the subject of legal action when former Ferrari driver Felipe Massa brought a £64 million claim against Formula One management, the FIA, and Bernie Ecclestone. The Supreme Court will now hear an appeal from Ecclestone and F1. So basically, Bernie Ecclestone and Formula One themselves are now appealing against paying Felipe Massa 250. Oh, he doesn't look happy, does he? He doesn't look happy against paying him £250,000. Don't forget, the original claim was for £64 million. Yes, which he had no chance of getting that anyway, but that was the original claim, and I think that was all to do with the fact that he lost the World Championship and all the the prize money and the adulation and everything that came with it. They sort of rounded it up to a nice 64 million because it's a nice round figure, isn't it? 64 million, yeah, what that'll do. But in the end, he got £250,000. But now the FIA are taking this to appeal because they don't even want to pay Felipe Massa £250,000. The FIA, F1 and Bernie Ecclestone have been granted permission to appeal to the Supreme Court after being ordered to pay Felipe Massa £250,000. In March, a High Court judge ordered the defendants to pay Massa as part of an ongoing dispute over the Crashgate scandal in 2008. They will now take the case to the Supreme Court, with Ecclestone, the FIA and F1 attempting to throw the case out. They have leapfrogged the Court of Appeal after the case was approved for trial over an alleged conspiracy. What's the chances that Bernie the Bolt and the FIA are going to have to pay Felipe Massa anything at all? I think it's looking very slim indeed. Very slim indeed. In November, a court ruling said the former F1 driver's legal action against the defendants can go to trial. He had taken legal action over the 2008 scandal during the Singapore Grand Prix. The court ruled that Massa can try to recover damages in regards to the controversy, but rejected his claim for a declaration that he should have won the 2008 driver's title. I do believe that was the most sensible thing to do, because I've said in the past, if you start rewriting championships and reissuing championships, we're going to get in a hell of a mess. So yes, the championship stands, and that's exactly how it should be. Then in March, a High Court judge has ruled that the FIA, Formula One management and Eccleston must pay Massa £250,000 as part of the costs of previous applications in the case of a court order seen by Sky Sports News. However, the judge did grant part of the defendants' applications and has certified that an important legal issue in the case should go straight to the Supreme Court for decision, which Eccleston, the F1 and FIA have now won permission to do so. I don't know who this is saying this. I look forward to proving in court that they conspired. Oh, I think this is Felipe Massa. I look forward to proving in court that they conspired to conceal the truth, and I will use all legal means to ensure that this injustice is corrected. Formula One is the greatest sport in the world, but it is essential it is also the fairest, Massa previously said in a statement. Lewis Hamilton's first F1 World Championship in 2008 is the subject of legal action, with Brazilian Massa saying he's the rightful winner of the title. As the 2008 Singapore Grand Prix, Renault staged a win for Fernando Alonso by ordering Nelson Piquet Jr. to crash, which brought out a safety car and meant Massa, who was leading the race for Ferrari, finished in 13th after his strategy was compromised. Massa lost the title by 1 point. The following season, Piquet revealed he had been under instruction by his bosses to deliberately crash. I'm pretty sure he came out and said that after he got sacked. Massa's lawyers claim Eccleston knew the crash was deliberate and that he and the FIA failed to investigate it. So there you go then. The story that never ends is still rumbling on. Felipe Massa. He probably won't get £250,000 now. He probably will walk away with nothing. And I'll tell you what else he'll walk away with. His reputation in absolute tatters. I used to really like Felipe Massa. I thought he was a good guy, but after this, my opinion has definitely changed. Anyway, let's have a look at the F1 news, because this weekend it's Barcelona. Barcelona. Do you like my singing? Good. Yes, it is the Spanish Grand Prix, home of Carmen Jorda. Yes, Carmen Jorda. Now, one thing we've got to click on is this, of course. It's been rumbling on for weeks and weeks and weeks. Ferrari and Audi have been against it, and they wanted this to come in 2028, but they have finally relented and said, oh, go on then. And Formula One, I don't think that's probably how it went, but anyway, Formula One agrees to engine design change after criticism. Formula One has agreed a two-step plan to change engine design in response to criticism of this year's new rules. Excuse me. Drivers have complained that the near 50-50 split between internal combustion and electrical power this year and the need for energy management has diminished the challenge in qualifying. Four-time champion Max Verstappen was so upset by the new engines he said he would quit F1 if changes were not made, but all the other drivers were in agreement the issue needed to be addressed. The engine suppliers have agreed to change the ratio to 60-40 in favour of the internal combustion engine by 2028 and will do so in 2 steps. Now, hopefully the main thing this will do is to stop the running on that we've seen so many times in the races so far. Running on meaning that the drivers have not been able to stop the car before hitting the barriers of the wall, as seen in the Monaco Grand Prix with Lance Stroll, but then that might just be because it was Lance Stroll, but definitely for Charles Leclerc. Running on means that when you hit the brake, the engine, either coming from the electrical side or from the combustion side, carries on pushing you forwards because it isn't cutting out in time when you hit the brake. And that, I think, is due to this 50-50 split. There isn't enough time switching from the electrical power back to the combustion. There isn't enough time because it has to be done in milliseconds for the engine to actually calm down and start to be braked, which is what you do when you hit the brake. And I think that is what is happening when these cars are running on and hitting the wall. Now, I had a car back in the day, donkeys years ago, I think about 20 years ago now, and I had a new engine put into the car, and unfortunately some of you might know that when you put a new engine in, it is prone to running on, which means you hit the brake but the engine carries on going. It's very, very frightening. That's why when you put a new engine in your car, you're supposed to run at like 50 miles an hour max or whatever, just in case something like this happens and you stop in time. And it did happen to me, and it was quite scary. I say you hit the brake but the engine carries on revving and pushes you forward, and that's what I think has been happening with the F1 cars so far. As Charles said in Monaco at that crash, he said, "I am not accepting responsibility for this." He said, "The brakes, man, the brakes." So hopefully this 60-40 split will help to alleviate that. The compromise agreement comes after a month of talks in which Ferrari and Audi were leading a push to prevent the move to 60-40 being made in one step for 2027. A statement from the governing body, the FIA, said the proposed changes are intended to address issues related to energy management and fuel energy flow characteristics and make qualifying more flat out while not impacting the positive and exciting racing generated by the new regulation. The agreed plan will see the split change to 58-42 in 2027 before moving to 60-40 in 2028. So, you know, it's near enough, isn't it? 58-42 is damn close to 60-40 anyway. I can't really see why they would agree to such a small change and then in 2028 another small change. I don't get it. But anyway, that's the FIA for you. The changes will be made by increasing the fuel flow to the internal combustion engine, the ICE, by 5% in 2027 and 13% in 2028. Now, if anyone didn't realise, for this year, the actual fuel flow is completely manually. There's no fuel injection in the 2026 cars whatsoever. Fuel injection, so it's basically fed like the old days with a carburettor. Obviously, it's not a carburettor these days because that's way too out of date technology. But it's the same kind of thing. It's just the fuel is directly fed into the engine. There's no pushing it from like a fuel injection system where it is squirted from the fuel injection. It just flows into the engine. And obviously that's now going to be increased in 2027 and 13% increased in 2028. This will increase the power from the ICE from about 400 kilowatts, which is 536 brake horsepower this year, to 420, 563 brake horsepower in 2027 and 450, 603 brake horsepower in 2028. Power reduced by the electrical part of the engine will be reduced from 350 kilowatts this year to 300 from next year. The maximum power available in overtake mode, which gives a driver within 1 second of a car in front the ability to recover and use an extra 0.5 millijoules of energy per lap, will remain at 350 kilowatts. But the maximum harvesting power of electrical God, this is so complicated. The last move will allow teams to recover energy more quickly, reducing the amount of time spent doing so. There you go. The biggest criticism of the new cars this year has been the engines were energy starved because it was too difficult to recover sufficient energy around a lap to meet the maximum allowance. So there you go. That was boring. I'm not going to read any more of that out, but yes, they are finally doing something. But is it going to be enough? I think it is, because we've seen in races recently that the super clipping hasn't really been as much of a problem as it was at the start of the season in Australia. Of course, that horrible, I think it's turn 14 or is it turn 12? That long stretch before you get to the left-hand turn. You saw the super clipping where the engine, where the cars were slowing down because they'd run out of power. I haven't seen that as much during the recent races, So this improvement is definitely going to help. I think it just needed a tweak anyway, to be honest, and then we should be good until 2031 when we get the V8s back. Yeah, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. But anyway, there you go. Engines are being changed. Now I just saw a Lulu. Never say never. Hamilton offers verdict on F1 title chances ahead of Barcelona. Oh, Lulu's bigging himself up. Unfortunately, he has got a little bit of a rival called Kimi Antonelli. Lewis Hamilton admits never say never with regards to challenging Mercedes for this year's Formula One title, with the Briton confident of pushing Ferrari further in the right direction ahead of this weekend's Barcelona-Catalunya Grand Prix. The 7-time world champion matched his best ever result for the Scuderia in a Grand Prix last time out in Monaco with P2, repeating the result from the previous round in Canada. It means Hamilton has taken 3 podiums in the last 5 Grand Prix, a stark contrast to last season when he failed to reach the rostrum on a Sunday in 24 attempts. I knew we could get to this point at some point, said Hamilton on Thursday's media day ahead of the Barcelona Grand Prix. I knew that last year was a building year, and I knew that if we acted on the things that we'd asked for, we would eventually get to where we're going. We still have work to do. We're still not there yet. But the things that I've been asking for last year, I've got a car that I've now had input into, helped developed, adding things to new ways that we can work together. Fred Vasseur, Ferrari team principal, has been great in collaborating with me, and it feels great to be part of that and to see progress. Progress for Lulu! Lulu! There he is, everyone. Lewis Hamilton. Could he be the winner of the championship at the end of 2026? Judging on his form recently, I would say yes, but unfortunately he has got Kimi Antonelli, who I don't think he's going to let him get away with that. No, I don't think he's going to. But saying that, I think he's a very strong contender for possibly finishing in second place in the championship. If Max Verstappen still can't get his car together, which I don't think he's going to, I think he could still be a good contender for second position. Fantastic. Fantastic. Okay, it's time for the chat. It's time for the chat. That's all the F1 news we got for you. Let's go to the chat. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, we've got loads in. Welcome, welcome everybody. Welcome, welcome. Hello Matthew 7657. You're the first one in the chat, and he says Lewis Hamilton will F1. Dave is cuter when he supports Lewis Hamilton. Ah, that's nice. That's nice. Hello, Mr. Regard. He says, here we go. Agreed, Matthew. Congratulations to the 2019 rookie class for winning the championship. Yes, Mexico. Stream going on. Hello, Shane. Welcome to the stream. He says, so after previously being the Spanish Grand Prix Barcelona-Catalunya, it's now the Barcelona-Catalunya. I know, it's confusing. It's confusing. And, of course, we've got Madrid, don't forget, later in the year. Now, I have seen a video from Mr. Kyle Illman, who's on YouTube. Very good YouTuber, far better than me. And he has actually been at the Spanish circuit, the Madrid circuit. And I'll tell you what, they are really up against it because that circuit is nowhere near finished. Nowhere near finished. They really do, cut it fine on these new circuits, getting them ready in time because it really doesn't look finished at all. But I'm pretty sure they'll get there. Maybe it might need a few more licks of paint, which they'll probably do after the race, but I think it'll get there. But it's looking dicey at the moment. Really, the bulldozers are still making the track at the moment. So, yes. Anyway, I'm sure it'll be okay. Hookster to the world, yes, because the Spanish Grand Prix is moving to the new street circuit in Madrid called the Madrid. Yes, true. Cannot hear a damn thing. No, neither could I. Hello, Mr. Will F1 World Stream. He says, Lulu almost always loses to me on the F1 games. Definitely not the GOAT. Oh, that's a shame. Poor Lulu. I think on the F1 games, I think Codemasters are very cruel, and I think they nerf Lulu on purpose. Yeah, I'm sure they do. I'm sure they don't give him the performance level that he deserves. And it's outrageous considering they made him the star, didn't they, of F125. And in fact, F126, it looks like that contract has carried over into the DLC pack as well. So yes, outrageous, outrageous. In career mode, when I have a decent car, that is. Damn, Will. 5 wins in a row, most definitely not GOAT. Even Bottas beats him sometimes. Hello, TB, my favourite bear, says Shane. He says, TB says, hello, Shane. I respect the numbers of Lewis Hamilton and his longevity. It's pretty damn impressive. It is pretty damn impressive. Lewis Hamilton is... here we go, everyone. Will says Lewis Hamilton is never, and he's put it in capitals just to emphasise the point, never win another championship or even get close, to be honest. Verstappen is Hamilton in 2021. Yes. Shane says, I don't think we've got any new circuits on the F1 calendar next year, but we have got some returning circuits on the F1 calendar next year, like Istanbul, Park and Portimao. Yes, we have. To be involved in 11 championship fights is pretty incredible. Even more impressive, you won more than half against strong teammates, second most races, etc. Yes. Correct, Will F1 gaming on Verstappen better in 21. Mr. Regal says, pack it in, Mr. Massa. It's been 18 years. I am totally in agreement. That is the thing. It has been 18 years. And I just don't get what he's trying to achieve. I mean, the 64 million was bad enough. I mean, that really kind of tells you Felipe Massa's thinking at the moment, isn't it? That he wants 64 million for something that happened 18 years ago. As I say, there should be a statutory limit on stuff like this. You know, if it's not decided within the first couple of years, it should be, you know, null and void. And I hope that that will come into effect when this court case is over, that they'll put some kind of stipulation that if this isn't sorted within 2 years, then it's null and void, because this is ridiculous. 18 years later that they're coming back with this. I mean, you know, this sets a terrible precedent for Formula One. What, you know, is Damon Hill going to come back and say, oi, I was robbed of the 1994 championship because Michael Schumacher damaged my suspension? Is that what's going to happen? Well, I mean, he's got a good case. We clearly saw it on the TV. He's got a good case. Of course, it won't happen. But as I say, a precedent's got to be set, and it's got to be stopped that you can do this 18 years later. Basically, it should never have even got to court. It should never have even got to the process of going to court. So there you go. And I'm hoping that actually Bernie Ecclestone doesn't pay Felipe Massa £250,000. Because, as I say, it's 18 years later, and you know we need to move on. Because if you don't move on in life, you end up constantly saying the same things over and over again. Maybe Matt is becoming one of those crazy Lewis Hamilton fans, says Will Evan. Oh, those crazy Lewis Hamilton fans. What are they called? They're called the Cult of Lewis Hamilton or something. I don't know. Shane says, although we got a new circuit coming in 2028, which would be the I can't even pronounce that, Shane. Qadiyah taking over from the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Don't think I can support anyone who is with Kim K, says Will F1. I know, outrageous. All that money she's got, and she nicked a towel. Can you believe that? All that money and she nicked a towel. Mr. Regard says, congrats, of course, to Chazza HDF1 on 1,000 streams. Congratulations to Chazza HDF1. I've no idea how many streams I've done, but I'm pretty sure it's not 1,000. Not 1,000. I think it's like, it's 24 a year, isn't it? Basically 24 a year, and I've been doing it I don't know 5 years now, probably something like that. So I'm probably I'm probably getting near to the 250, I think, but nowhere near 1,000. So congratulations. Big highlight was his vid on Lance Stroll a few years ago. Pretty legendary. Solid reviews in 2019 too at Austria, Canada and Germany especially. Mr. Regard says, Audi slightly disappointing so far. Yeah, I've not seen a lot of Audi, has to be said. Been a bit disappointing. I mean, I think I saw more of Sauber last year than I did of Audi this year, to be honest. I definitely saw more of Sauber. So, yeah, a bit disappointing. Shane says, I always wonder what other new circuit we'll get after Kudaya. Don't know, Shane. Will says, ShaneBot.exe. Shane enjoys the Middle East. Let's not talk about that track, Shane, says Will. You calling me ShaneBot.exe? It started already. Mr. Regard says, I enjoy Qatar on Formula One Manager because I always win it. Nice. The shame about those Formula One Manager games, I only ever bought the first one, I think, the 2022 version, I think, but unfortunately it was incredibly easy. Oh, I thought it was anyway. I think I did a McLaren, and yeah, once you know exactly what's going on, it was very, very easy. I understand they made them a little bit more difficult once it got to the 24 version, but it's just a shame that they're no longer with us because it was an alternative and a rival to Formula One. Now Codemasters are back to exclusivity again, so they basically don't have to put any effort in. I just feel that they were really trying to push things when those Frontier games were out. I really do. Like with the Breaking Point, that was a definite attempt to try and take some of the shine off those Formula One Manager games. So there you go. What track? Shane, stop spamming comments about the Middle East, says Will. Fangio is the GOAT for me, but Michael Schumacher is definitely 1B. Yes, definitely. I'm not spamming comments about the Middle East. You always talk about the Middle East, says Will. It's the guy who won for the most different teams and the guy to win multiple for multiple teams. Shane, and it's weird and annoying, says Will. Why am I weird and annoying? Baku is a terrible track, says Will. I agree with you. Mr. Rugara doesn't agree with any of us. He says Baku is a solid racetrack. A lot of F1 fans like Baku, says Shane. As David Croft says, well done, Baku. Baku is not only boring when there are crashes, it's shite. F1 fan gamer loves Baku, says Will F1. Oh my goodness. I love cars, says Shane. Yeah, me too. I think you need tracks like that, though. Burnout Paradise in real life. Yes. I love bicycles as well, says Shane. Same, Shane. What do you mean, same? I mean, I do as well. What, love cars and bicycles? Yes, Shane, yes. Mexico. ShaneBot.exe. I also love motorcycles. George Russell, says Will. Sensational. George Russell. Sensational. Yes, George Russell is sensational, isn't he? No, not really. He's definitely changed his tune from the first race of the season, hasn't he? When he said, oh, I love this, I love this car and I love this engine. Yes, unfortunately, Kimi Antonelli also loves the car and loves the engine and he's basically beating the pants off you. Oh dear, George. Oh dear. It's a shame about George, but I've never sort of bigged up George because I've never really classed him as a fantastic, great driver. To be honest, I put him in the sort of Damon Hill league. He's a good driver, yes, but he's definitely not a great driver. So I don't know what all the hype was about George Russell. To be honest, no idea. I mean, he had a couple of years, didn't he, with Lewis Hamilton, and they were pretty much level pegging. I didn't really see much Jules' domination over Lewis, to be honest. So yeah, it's very, very strange how everyone sort of, jumped on the bandwagon of, oh, Jules is going to be world champion this year because no one's going to be able to. No, no, I never saw that anyway. I mean, yeah, admittedly, I didn't see Kimi Antonelli. That's kind of come out of left field this year, Kimi Antonelli. I didn't see that one coming, to be honest. But, he had a bad start to the last season. True. A lot of distractions, but, he was, 19 years old? Well, I presume he still is 19 years old. But he was 19 years old, so, you come into Formula One and you come in to a team like Mercedes. I mean, it's like night and day. You imagine like Fernando Alonso when he came into the sport in 2001, wasn't it, in Minardi? I mean, that's just like a totally different situation. I actually saw a video yesterday where they said that when Fernando Alonso was racing for Minardi in 2001, Spanish TV didn't even have a F1 contract to show any of the races. So he had to get his parents, Fernando Alonso's parents, to watch the German feed of the F1 races, and he had to get that all hooked up for them so they could watch the German feed, and that was the only way they could watch him racing at the time back in 2001 at Minardi, which I thought was just strange. When you think about the ways you can watch Formula One now, I mean, it's absolutely everywhere, isn't it? But back then, of course, it wasn't, and they couldn't watch it in Spain because they didn't have a contract, so they had to watch it off the German feed, which I'm sure Fernando got them hooked up with RTL, and they watched it that way. But yeah, so yeah, Kimi Antonelli had a bad start to the year last year, but he's certainly come out of the box now. I think it's 65 points ahead of George Russell right now, so he's doing pretty decent. Oh, I've just had a message from the friend of the show. Yes, it's the Scissor Sisters, and he's just said, I'm watching the World Cup. So there you go. That's why he's not here. He's watching the World Cup, apparently. I did wonder that we are a few missing. And I do believe that the World Cup is on right now. So I may have made a huge mistake in streaming tonight because, especially at this time, because I didn't realise that the World Cup was on. But there you go anyway. So we're a few missing tonight. So if we run out of chat, we will finish the show early. But yeah, I'd completely forgotten that it was the World Cup, and I think it actually starts tonight as well, doesn't it? So that's why we've got a few missing. I think Mr. Plynal Pessy is definitely not going to be here tonight. I think because I know he's a football fan, so he won't be here. And of course, the Scissor Sisters has just sent me a message saying he's watching the World Cup as well. But never mind, we will continue. No chance Hamilton wins another championship, let's be honest, says Will F1. Yeah, I think you're pretty right there. I don't think he will win it. I think he will do pretty well this year, though. The 2019 class will all win a world championship. Russell will still finish second easily if he stops being shit. This is true. I love trucks and vans as well, says Shane. Russell may still come back and win it, to be honest. Matt is trying to make Dave support Lulu. Or just wants it to happen. I know. As South Africans see red in a football field, we continue on. Happy birthday to Jackie Stewart as well, 87 years young. Well, happy birthday, Jackie Stewart, 87. Jesus. I don't remember. I didn't watch Jackie Stewart because I'm not that old. But I have seen some of Jackie Stewart's racing, and he was a class act, it has to be said. A class act was Jackie Stewart. Now, one of the things we seem to forget also that he was also a strong component of safety, and a lot of the safety measures that we've got in place today are as a result of the tireless campaign from Jackie Stewart to get the sport a lot safer than it was back in the 60s and 70s, which, as I said, the grim statistics, I think, during the 60s and 70s was that you would lose 7 drivers every single season, which is just a ridiculous amount. It really is. Don't forget, of course, back then there was a lot more teams, a lot more drivers. There also teams trying to get into just one of the races in the first place. So, in that situation, I mean, obviously, if it was by today's standards with just like 12 teams, if we were losing 7 people every single year, it would be an absolute disaster, wouldn't it? It really would. But so congratulations to Jackie Stewart. I love buses as well, says Shane. George Russell is never winning a championship, says Will F1. Yes, I think he goes through the straight gate and becomes champion. You never know, he might win a championship, says Shane. Something tells me eventually George Russell picks it up at some stage. Oh, here he is, Blind Old Pessy, World to the Street. He says, I'm missing this again because the World Cup is on. I know, I just said that a couple of minutes ago. I actually just realised that the World Cup was on, and I think it's just started as well, so that's why there'll be a few missing at the moment. Mr. Scissor Sisters has just sent me a message saying he won't be here because he's watching the World Cup. I think it's outrageous that, the World Cup is more important than the Hookster Talks on a Thursday evening, but what can you do? What can you do? What is it, like 40 billion people watch it? Is it something like that? So I can't compete with that, can I? Correct, Petty. Mad game going on at the moment. Hookster is thank you, Mr. Will F1. Hookster is a YouTube genius. Wow. Be careful, Will. My head's going to explode with ego soon. Yes, I won't be able to get through that door behind me. My head will just go bloop. Yes. Thank you very much, Mr. Will F1. Thank you very much. Hookster is a YouTube genius. Love it. Yes. And it's over. See yours next week. Since Spa and Barcelona, Catalonia are getting rotated. 2031 might be the last race at Spa, and 2032 could be the last race at Barcelona, Catalonia. Shane, stop spamming about Canada, says Will F1. What? I'm just saying. You always make the same comment, says Will F1. Over 2,000 for Hookster. He's immortal. Yes, I am immortal. 2,000. Yes. I was a little bit worried about 2,000 and it was going to drop back down again, actually. But my current figure is actually 2,021, so I'm well above the 2,000. So very impressed. Thank you all, everyone. Yes, thank you all, everyone. And I do get some new subscribers when I do like the race review videos. Yes, people, fresh in aren't going to be watching the all seasons because we're like 557 episodes in. So I understand that totally. That's really for, the people that have been watching it for ages and ages and ages, the all seasons. So I can understand that. But I do get a few subscribers when I do the race review videos. So thank you for that. Indeed. Very nice to see. Very nice to see. F1 Fanatic Rant said Liam Lawson is underrated. Says underrated. Underrated. Have you seen his avatar in the F1 26 DLC? Oh my god. It looks so much like a cartoon character, it's unreal. But then they all do. But it is just ridiculous. It really is, Liam Lawson. Wowzers. It's just horrible. It really is. They all just look like F1 race stars. Yes, I think they're saving money now and not having the drivers come in to get their face scanned. Because obviously, the drivers aren't going to do that for free, are they? They're going to want being paid for, I mean, it's not going to be a lot, but they're going to want at least a minimum paid wage for turning up. So it probably is better for Codemasters to just do it using AI, and I'm sure they are AI faces. I'm sure they're not the real drivers' faces anymore because they just look like caricatures. Looks like a Scooby-Doo cartoon now. It really does. But yeah, not good. Not good. And somewhere out there, Paddock69 is watching this and banging his computer because Will F1 gave him to spend £2. Yes, I like that scenario, and you're probably right. You're probably right. Yes, you're probably right. And I've lost the chat now. Oh, here we go. We can do it underneath Will's contribution. There we go. Also, there are any circuits you want back on the calendar, because there are some I want back on the calendar. Yes, I want Yin Yang Wigwam. Couldn't give a damn. I want that back on the calendar. Yes, the South Korean Grand Prix. Get that back on the calendar, FIA. I loved that circuit. It was great. Yes, great. No, not really. But yeah, circuits I'd like back on the calendar. I'd like the old French circuit, the Magny Pause. That was pretty decent. I like that one. Yes. Oh wait, we need Argentina back. Yes, that was a great circuit. The original Argentina circuit. Yeah, the one that used to play on F1 '97. We need that one back. No, we don't. No, we don't. No, that was horrible. But let's be sensible now. Thinking of classic circuits. Well, of course, I'd like the original Nürburgring back. You know, the long version and not the horrible squiggly bit one that they did in 2003. I'd like the old one back that we used to play on F1 '97, because that was great. Basically just two big long straights cut up by a couple of chicanes, and that was it. But I just loved that circuit. It was just great because it was flat out, as Murray used to say, flat out. So yeah, I'd love to see that one back on the calendar, please. Thank you very much, FIA. But it's not going to happen because they probably lost their FIA license about 15 years ago by now, maybe 20 years ago, so it's not going to happen. But I'd love to see that original version back in the F1 calendar. Mr. Regard says, congratulations to Lance Stroll for reaching 200 races. Congratulations, Lance. 200 races and only 10 you didn't crash in. Well done. Well done. Fantastic. Fantastic. Good old Lance. He's still going to be driving long after Fernando Alonso retires. I'm sure he's going to be 56 years old, Lance Stroll, still pottering about in Formula One, back of the grid. His daddy might finally have sacked him by then, but he'll be driving some other backmarker team. Yeah, backmarker team he'll be driving for, and he'll be 56 years old, and he'll still be pottering around and going, oh, I'll get you young whippersnappers one day. Yes, good old Lance. I don't want him to go. I don't want Lance to go because he is just great comedy value. He really is. So please don't retire, Lance. I mean, he doesn't even want to be in Formula One himself. That's the greatest thing. He wants to be a professional tennis player. Well, I think you may have cooked that by now, Lance, because you are getting on a little bit. And tennis players, basically, by the time they're 36, and that's pushing it sometimes, 36, that's the end of your tennis career. So I think you better put that one on the back burner, Lance, or get into it very, very quick because you haven't got many years left. In fact, I know some tennis players are completely burnt out by 32. 32, yes. So I think that may be a no-no for Lance Stroll. So I think he's going to be stuck at Formula One. Yes. Driving for daddy. Driving for daddy. My daddy. I love my daddy. He lets me drive Formula One cars even though I'm shite. I'm absolutely shite. But he lets me do it because he's my daddy. And I love my daddy. That's an actual genuine conversation, yes, from him with Aston Martin, yes, in the garages at every race. I love scooters as well, says Shane. Well done, Shane. Did you like the C5? I love the C5. Yeah, that was great, that was. I love that. I know someone who's got one of those. Yeah, it's the Moaning Yorkshireman. Didn't do bugger. What did he do to that C5? Oh, he he changed the rear light or something, didn't he? And then didn't he paint it in some horrible colour? Didn't even bother stripping the old paint off, just slapped it over the top. That'll do. That'll do. And it's probably still sitting in his shed, completely, I would say rusted, but I do believe it was made of plastic, or at least the shell, I think, was plastic, and the actual parts inside were probably metal. So it's probably sitting in his shed now, rusting away, because I know it didn't run. It was nowhere near going to be running, so there you go. Will says Damon Hill is an old fart. Yes, he is. He was on the Channel 4 program. I think it was Canada. I think he was on that, and I haven't seen Damon Hill. I mean, obviously I see pictures of him when I'm on the internet, but I hadn't sort of seen him animated and talking for quite a while, because obviously he's been over at Sky. I can't get Sky, so I hadn't seen him for a while, and I saw him, and I was like, whoa, David, you need to get some hair dye, mate. You need to get some hair dye. I think he's just given up on the hair dye now, because blimey, his hair's all white, isn't it? And his bushy white beard as well. Yes, blimey, David, blimey. But so I hadn't seen him for a while. But you're right. You're right, Will. He's an old fart now. Yes. I mean, let's face it. He was pretty much an old fart when he entered Formula One. Very, very late into Formula One, wasn't he? I think he was 32, which for Formula One circles is very, very late indeed. But of course, he was a motorbike rider before that, and he was competing in motorbike races before he took the plunge and went into Formula One. But yeah, very late. I think he was 32 when he was Williams. So yeah, very, very late into anyone's kind of future career in Formula One, as to be said. Usually you're very, very young. We look at Kimi Antonelli, 19 years old, and then just compare that between the two. 19 when he entered Formula One, Damon Hill 32. Yes, wowzers. Mr. Regard says, I love the fact some people have slightly turned around on Lando Norris. Yes. Will says, I definitely have not and won't. Well done, Will. Well done. These Yorkshiremen, they're not for turning. I'll tell you, these Yorkshiremen, they're not for turning. Shane says, some people say the Spanish Grand Prix at Madrid could be delayed till next year. Yeah, I have heard that, Shane. As I say, I was looking at Carl Illman's video, and it doesn't look good. Mind you, there was a circuit a few years ago. Which one was it? I think it was Baku when it first started. I remember they went to Baku, and Baku was very, very way off from being finished. And I think that went right down to the wire. I think they were literally just doing the final painting as it was ready for the Grand Prix, and that got done. So yeah. And of course, the worst one, I think, in recent years, which is quite surprising considering, in fact, that Formula One never actually raced on it, was the Vietnam circuit. If anyone remembers that one in 2020, yes, it's a stain on the F1 game in 2020, unfortunately, because it's there and you can't get rid of it. You can't get rid of it. No, unless you can get rid of it with the track editor. I can't remember if that was a thing in 2020. But if you had the track editor working, you could probably get rid of it that way. But if you wanted to do a full season, it was there every season. And I remember the Vietnam circuit, literally the bulldozers were just pulling out of the circuit when it was supposed to be ready. And of course, then what happened? COVID. And that was it. And it was like, oh no, all that work and they're not going to race on it. Yes. They're not going to race on it. I can't believe. Yes. It was a shame. But I remember that it was very down to the wire of getting the Vietnam circuit finished. But then, of course, COVID came along. Of course, when COVID first started, nobody knew that it was going to be as bad as it turned out to be. So everyone was still carrying on doing what they were doing before COVID was coming along. So, the circuit of Vietnam was still having to get ready to be done. They were still working diligently away at that, trying to get it done, because they didn't know what was going to happen. and then of course COVID, gradually over time. It took quite a long time as well, if you remember, to filter down that this was still something serious. I remember that on the TV, all the news channels like Sky News were going, "Oh, this is going to be really bad, and we need you to stay at home." And then it would cut to an advert break, and you were still getting these like cruise ship holidays during the ad breaks and stuff like that we knew later on would never actually happen. But it was a very long time before it filtered down to like the adverts where they started saying, "Oh yeah, don't forget to stay at home," and all that malarkey. So yeah, it was a very long time to filter, and of course, as I say, everything was still going on. They were still trying to build Vietnam in time, and of course, then COVID hit for real. I think April, May, I think it was when we started doing lockdowns in the UK. I can't remember, to be honest, but it was still a few months after it was first sort of reported. I think it was May that we had the lockdowns, and of course, everything was starting to grind to a halt. And of course, Vietnam, we never even went to Vietnam. In fact, the whole calendar for 2020 was completely changed. But unfortunately, in the F1 game by Codemasters, it is the actual calendar that would have been put in 2020 had they gone to the circuits, because they said, "There's no way we are changing that all now after we've done all them bloody circuits." No. And a lot of the circuits, of course, hadn't been actually made, because they were like reserve circuits that they brought in, and Codemasters says, "Well, we're not making those because they're not going to be around next year." Some of them were, though, Portimao, but they said, "We're not going to make those circuits because they won't be around next year." So they basically just run it as the 2020 calendar. But in the end, of course, we only had 17 rounds. Didn't start until July, did it? And it was a very, very different championship. I think, was it 3 rounds we had at Silverstone? I can't remember. I think it was 2 or 3 rounds at Silverstone, something like that. Anyway, so 2020 will go down in history as a completely different championship. But one of the things it won't go down with is running the Vietnam Grand Prix, which I'm very, very glad about, because that was the worst circuit that was ever devised by man. Yes, horrible circuit. If you read the story of the Vietnam circuit, it's just crazy that it was ever built in the first place. I mean, as far as I can recall, the bloke who helped build it is now in jail because he let's put it sensibly. How he acquired the money to build the circuit was not by normal means, like going to a bank and asking for a loan. No, it was done by the other means of getting money, if you know what I mean. And I do believe he's still in jail. Yes. So it was just a complete mess. And the other thing is, it's a circuit that was never raced on. It was, as far as I know, I can't remember when they actually stopped working on it once they found out COVID was coming along. But it's basically completely gone now. There is a picture of it online. There's a tiny bit of grandstand. It's like a little square, and there's a little bit of barrier, and that's all that remains of the circuit. I think they probably left that there just as a sort of reminder of what could have been. I think that's why it's been left there, but that's all that remains of the Vietnam circuit now. It's just those two little bits, little tiny bit of stand and a little bit of barrier at the front of it, and that's it. And it's completely gone. So all that money, all those resources to build the circuit, no, Formula One never raced at it, and then it was completely demolished. Crazy to think about when you think about that, isn't it? Crazy. The same way they did with Limp Bizkit, but I still think Lil Ian Lawson is kind of ass, man. Yes. Since the Spanish Grand Prix at Madrid has a contract until 2035, could be 2036, be the first year since 1985 without a race in Spain. Well, it could be, Shane, could be. All it took was Russell struggling like this. It'll be on for like a month. Do you still love us fighting in the chat, Dave? I do, Shane. I do. I love it. Yes, I do. John Lacey says Will is 62 today. Oh, John Lacey. John Lacey, happy birthday, John Lacey, 62 years old. My most vivid memory of John Lacey is 1997. I think it was the Australian Grand Prix when he ran out of fuel, despite the fact that his team were literally shouting over the radio at him constantly, John Alesi, you need to come in for fuel, John, fuel. He ignored them, carried on going, and he ran out of fuel. Parked it up, and Murray went, oh dear, John, oh dear, someone's going to have some explaining to do now. That's my most famous memory of John Alesi. He was a fairly good driver. I still wouldn't say he was a great driver, but he was a decent driver, has to be said. Of course, did quite a few years at Ferrari and at Benetton, of course, famously at Benetton after Michael Schumacher departed ways. Of course, he was partnering with Gerhard Berger, who was pretty much an old stager at that time, back in 1997. Gerhard, he was, reaching the end of his career, definitely. But yeah, and I can't remember where John went after Benetton. I'm sure he was still around though, but wasn't he in some of the minnow teams, like the Jordans or the Arrows? Was he in it? I can't remember. But yes, congratulations to John Alesi, 62 today. Mr. Regal says, Hookster watched Nürburgring 1968. I am not that old. No, I am not that old. I'm the same age as Jason Statham, don't you know? Yes, I am. I know. Just look at the face. Look, it could be like a mirror image, couldn't it? Just picture of Jason Statham. Hang on a minute. Look, I'll show you. Look. Oh, I'll get rid of the chat for a minute. I'll put you over there. Look. It's like a mirror image. Look, it's like a mirror image, isn't it? Hang on. Let me put the microphone down. Look, mirror image. See, there's no difference. Me and Jace, same age. Yeah, same age. Oh my God. Imagine if Jason Statham came into this chat one day. Oh my God, I'd be done. I mean, obviously, oops, put the microphone back up a minute. Obviously, it's never going to happen, but just imagine it. I'd be sitting here fawning, going, "I love you, Jason." Right, where do we get to? Hookster was 44 when Jackie Stewart won his first championship. Oh, good. Hookster was 67 when Nigel Mansell was world champion. His first championship was won after that Monza photo finish. Yes. Hookster was 82 when Lewis Hamilton choked the 2007 championship. Oh my goodness. Shane says, have you watched any of Jackie Stewart racing in Formula 1 on YouTube, Dave? Yes, I have, Shane. I've watched a few of his races. Very impressive driver was Jackie Stewart. I've got to say was because he's not driving obviously now. But yeah, very impressive. I did like Jackie. As I said earlier, not only a good racer, but he was very instrumental in getting safety measures in place to make Formula One as safe as it is today. Because let's face it, F1 is very, very safe today. It's never going to be 100% safe. Every now and again, unfortunately, we are going to get fatalities. But those fatalities are pretty much, if you look at the statistics, working out about a seven-year scale, where we're getting like a couple every 7 years, 2 or 3 every 7 years, which I think you'll agree is a lot better than losing 7 every single season, which is what was happening during the terrible times of the 60s and the 70s. As I say, Jackie Stewart was instrumental in improving safety. Now, of course, a lot of the safety measures they introduced weren't very good, but, you know, these were the days of experimental stuff like the catch fencing, which was put on, you know, in the runoff areas, which was actually a horrible idea, because if you went off into the catch fencing, it would actually collapse inwards into your car, and you'd end up actually caught up in the catch fencing. So, you know, that was a terrible idea. But as I say, this was all experimental stuff. They were experimenting with stuff to do with safety. And catch fencing was one of those things that unfortunately didn't work. But, you know, they learned from that and they improved stuff like that. I mean, it was there that they went off into, you know, like runoffs into gravel, which would slow you down, stuff like that. Because I mean, you didn't used to have gravel back in the old days. If you went off, you'd literally be going full speed into the barrier, and this is what caused a lot of fatalities. So after the catch fencing, you know, things improved. They had like you know, improvements to the barriers, and we ended up with the techno barriers, which is basically still in use today, which is the barriers that you see around the circuit, which are designed like huge crumple zones. So when the F1 car hits it, the barrier actually, you know, creases up and goes around the car to add a little bit of protection in the event of an accident. And they're still using those today. And I think the techno, is it techno or Tecmo? I can't remember the exact wording. I think those barriers now have been around for quite a few years. I think since I'm going to say 80s, but at least during the 90s, those barriers have been in place, which do improve on the safety standards of Formula One. Don't forget, of course, a lot of the stuff that they introduced that, you know, originally the drivers were dead set against, me as well, in fact. And, of course, that's the halo. When that was introduced in 2018, I could not stand that. I thought it was horrible. There was an option in the F1 games to remove the central pillar if you're using cockpit view, which I never use anyway. But that was okay. So it made the halo bearable. But if you ever actually did a race on the F1 game with that pillar intact, you can't see anything. You can't. And the other problem is, if you're like me and you use a racing line, you couldn't see the line properly because the middle pillar was in the way, which meant if you go into the course, especially at Monaco, you can't see the racing line. So that was horrible. But the halo, I absolutely hated that when it came out. I thought it was horrible. I thought it was, you know, but since then, we know it's saved lives. Roman Grosjean, to be sure, Roman wouldn't be with us without the halo, and so. Yeah, it's been great for safety. And of course, there's been other safety improved. The hands device, which is that thing that you see them wearing, going around sort of the back of their neck and onto their shoulders. That also, you know, helps to stop neck injuries, which of course, you know, back in the day they used to sit in an open cockpit with their head fully exposed. I mean, you can't even imagine that these days, can you? But yeah, just fully exposed cockpit, which meant that, you know, any slight, you know, impact to your head would have caused serious damage. So the hands device, in fact, the hands device came along before the halo. The hands device came along, and the drivers didn't like that at first because it restricts your head movements, you know. But as the years have gone on, they just, you know, they realised that it's an essential part of racing now, and it has to be in place, and it does help. Definitely with the fatalities, which, as I say, have reached an all-time low, which I'm very, very glad about. As I say, you're never going to make it 100% safe. At some point, someone in Formula One in the future, unfortunately, will lose their lives. That's going to happen. But you just keep it as safe as you can. And Formula One, I think, is as safe as it's been for a very long time, and that's great to see. Congratulations to Kimi Antonelli on winning the Spanish Grand Prix, says Plynal Plessy. Yes, indeed. I think it's going to happen, Plynal. I think it's going to happen, seriously. I think, actually, if things continue... Now, obviously, at some point, he's going to have a mechanical issue, engine failure, or something else is going to break on the car. But if everything goes right for Kimi Antonelli, I think it's possible that he could win a lot of the rounds this year. What's the record? Is it 13 in a season? 13? I think it's 13. I think it is entirely possible that Kimi Antonelli could beat 13 this year. I've got to say that cautiously, though, because of course we've got a reduction in rounds because we've lost 2 already. And I'm telling you now, we're not going to Abu Dhabi. I don't care what anybody says. We won't be going to Abu Dhabi at the end of the year. That's just not going to happen. So it could only be a 20, 21 or 20 round championship, depending on what's happening with Qatar, of course, as well. So if it's only 20, so I've got to be careful saying this, but it's possible that he could beat the 13 win record, because his form at the moment is unbeatable, absolutely unbeatable. The only person who is a rival to him is, of course, George Russell at the moment, and George is he's just not getting there, is he? He's not getting there. He needs to be next to Kimi Antonelli, not about 4 or 5 positions back, and that's what he was, I think, at Monaco, wasn't it? So not good, not good. Hookster watched it all live on TV. Yes. Or is it the Catalan Grand Prix? However you want to call it. Pesci still ahead of the paddock in the title. Good. He's on the podium. It's the Barcelona Catalunya Grand Prix. This Spanish Grand Prix is moving to the new street circuit in Madrid called the Madring. Yeah, it's mad, this Madring. Mad. Scissor Sisters hopefully to win, said Mr. Rugara. Get steps on the all seasons rubbish. Yes, steps. One for sorrow. That's the only one I remember. I remember more, but I just remember that one. Yes, One for Sorrow. That was their first one, wasn't it? Yes. I mean, let's face it. None of them could sing, could they? None of them could sing. No. It was all fabricated, like a lot of these girl bands, boy bands are all fabricated. None of them could sing properly. Let's face it. Maybe Claire. Maybe Claire could sing, but she was probably the only one. Yes, properly anyway. I mean, they could sing, but I'm talking about singing properly. But yes, steps. I used to love their music. The 90s was great for that stuff, and also bad in equal measure. Yeah, I think the 90s actually destroyed the music industry, because you had the 80s, which was, I mean, you can't even put the 80s into any kind of box. You can't compartmentalize the 80s music, because it was just madder than a box of spanners. 80s music was just off the hook. There's no way you could grab hold of the 80s music and put it in a box and put a stamp on it and say, this is what we call the... You can't do it, because it was mad. But the 90s was definitely the decade of, you know, the boy bands, the girl bands, the groups and everything else. As I say, I thought it was great, but it also, I think, killed the music industry pretty much dead by the time the 2000s came along. Because let's face it, who remembers the music from the 2000s? Nobody. And who remembers the music from the 2010s? Nobody. And who remembers the music that is currently out right now? Nobody. And there's your typical example. It's so bad. I understand that they are actually getting rid of the top 40 countdown in the UK, which has been running for 76 years. I believe it's going at some point, or it may have gone already. I don't know. I haven't been keeping up to date with it, but because apparently the top 40 countdown is just completely irrelevant these days because of stuff like streaming music and stuff like that. It's completely irrelevant, so they're going to get rid of it. 76 years it's been running. Yes. And I think when that goes, music will just die as a medium, because who listens to music anymore? I'm not talking about old stuff. I listen to old stuff all the time. I'm talking about modern music. Modern music. Name me a killer piece of music made in the past 2 months, and I bet you can't. I bet you can't, because music, unfortunately, as a medium, has died. All the big people that used to be in music have now left. Have now left. I mean, I haven't looked at the top 40 countdown for about 20 years. I perish to think what the top 40 countdown consists of right now. I perish to think. All I know is I wouldn't know what it is. In fact, let's do that right now, because I have not done this in 20 years. Let's see if I actually recognise anyone. Anyone. Let's go to the bottom first. Let's go to the bottom. There we go. This will be a laugh. The top 40 right now, currently. Official singles charts. At number 40, we've got Blessings by Calvin Harris. I have heard of Calvin Harris. We've got So Easy to Fall in Love by Oliver Dean. No, never heard of him. Harry Styles. I've heard of Harry Styles at 38. Stateside. Never heard of him. 37. Fever Dream by Alex. Never heard of him. 36. Jennifer Lopez featuring Pitbull. Is that 35? Surely she must be in the old folk zone by now. Jennifer Lopez. What the hell's that doing in the charts? Surely that's an old song, because it's got now, that's what I call music 20th anniversary on it. That's got to be an old one, isn't it? At 34, we've got Noble with F3MI. I've never heard of them. Never heard of them. 33. What the bloody hell's this? I Want You Back by the Jackson 5. What the hell's that doing in the 2026 UK chart? What? What? Well, apart from the fact that it's actually factually incorrect, because it's not the Jackson 5 anyway, is it? I think it's probably only about the Jackson 3, isn't it? I can't remember. His old thingy-majig's still going. I can't remember. We know, of course, Michael's gone, but who was the one that was in Big Brother? I can't remember his name. Is he still alive? I think he probably is, actually. But it's at least it's only the Jackson 4 now. It's not the Jackson 5. So that's obviously a very old record. And I had no idea what that's doing in the UK singles chart. But there it is. I Want You Back. Wow. It's been there for 13 weeks as well. I'm presuming that something has made that come into the charts. Maybe an advert, maybe a TV show. I don't know. But that's usually how it works. 32, The One That Got Away by Katy Perry. She's talking about Russell Brand. Now, I do know Katy Perry. 31, we got Shebang by Drake. I've heard of Drake as well. Here we go then, top 30. Where Is My Husband? No idea. I don't even know who that is. Ray. Self-Aware by No, don't know who that is. Everywhere by Fleetwood Mac at 28. What the hell is going on with this chart? Fleetwood Mac? What's that doing in the chart in 2026? It's been there for 153 weeks. Oh my God. Oh my God. Now that surely has got to be due to a TV show or an advert. How that's got in there. That's got in there. Because we had that thing, didn't we? I've never seen the show myself, but it was the Kate Bush song because of was it Stranger Things? I've never watched it, but I've heard about Stranger Things, and they used the Kate Bush song in that, and so that they re-entered the charts because of that. That's got to be something to do with that from Fleetwood Mac. Hit the Wall by Gracie. No, never heard of her. Ordinary. No, don't know who that is. Boston. I love it. I love it. I love it. I think she loves it. I'm pretty sure she loves it by Bella Kay. No. National Treasures by Drake. I do know Drake. Dreams by Fleetwood Mac. What the hell is that? Are we going back to the 80s in 2026, everyone? Are we going back to the 80s? That's been there for 171 weeks. At 22. Dreams by Fleetwood Mac. Oh my God. Talk to You by blah, blah, blah. No idea. Is at 21. Here we go. Top 20. Top 20. Material Lover by Sienna Spirit. Never heard of her. Never heard of her. Earrings. No, don't know who that is. Free Your Mind. Oh, I wish I could. 17. It's Just the Way You Are by Milky. Man I Need by Oliver Dean. It's number 16. Nope. Yeah, we've all heard of Harry Styles, American Girl. Right, Home Wrecker. No. Choosing Texas by Ella. No, never heard of her. What the hell is this? Human Nature by Michael Jackson's at number 12 in the UK singles charts. So you've been there for 6 weeks as well. Oh my God. Well, this UK top 40 chart has certainly turned to shit, hasn't it? Oh my God. What's that? 3 80s songs in the chart? Yeah, two Fleetwood Macs, one. No, we had Jackson 5. Four songs from the 80s in the chart. Oh my God. Human Nature. Number 11, we got Oliver Rodrigo with Drop Dead. Okay, here we go then. This is the most exciting, being the top 10 for the official UK singles chart. Number 10, it's Lush Life by Zara Larsson. Never heard of her. She's been there for 85 weeks. What the bloody hell's this? At number 9, we got Beat It by Michael Jackson. Just beat it. I preferred the Weird Al Yankovic version, but what the? He's been there for 28 weeks as well. What on earth has gone on with this official chart? It's ridiculous now. Okay, number 8 is Midnight Sun by Lara's. No, don't know who that is either. Number 7, I have heard of the Chemical Brothers and they're in with Go. Number 6 is Dracula by Tame Impala. What's the Billie Jean? Is that? Oh, this is it. It's It's not 2026. No. I'm living in the Twilight Zone. This is not 2026. This is actually 1985. 1985. Yes. Billie Jean is number 5 in the UK singles chart. It's been there for 43 weeks by Michael. Oh my God. Oh my. I don't believe it. Number 4 is Janice Shut the Fuck Up by Drake. Number 3 is The Cure by Olivia Rodrigo. Number 2 is Rein Me In by Sam Fender. Never heard of them. So, this week's number 1 in the official singles chart for 2026 in the month of June is Hate That I Made You Love Me by Ariana Grande. I have heard of Ariana Grande, yes. There you go. Oh my God, what a shit fest that is. I've literally not looked at the top 40 for about 20 years. And it's 1985. It's not 2026 anymore, it's 1985. Can you believe that? Honestly, that is so bad. Well, I can understand why now they're getting rid of it after 76 years. Because that is just ridiculous. Oh my God. Right, let's go back to the chat. Yes. Get S Club 7 on the all seasons for S Club. S Club. I think sadly one of them's not with us anymore, isn't he? I think one of them's died. Igora Drive is one of the tracks F1 nearly went to but didn't. That's true. S Club. Liam Lesbian Lawson. Liam Lesbian Lawson. And I've lost the chat. I'll get it back in a minute. Here we go. Liam Lesbian Lawson, as F1 Fanatic Rant says. I'm quite sad we didn't get to see Formula 1 race at Igora Drive in replacement of Sochi. Me too. They think Lawson is a solid race driver. Williams to use 1998 Winfield livery at the British... Not. Don't get me started, Will. Don't get me started. I almost got worried for a minute because all these teams with their special liveries. Oh God! Imagine if that happened. I would seriously. I wouldn't watch the British Grand Prix if Williams turned up in the Winfield livery. I would say nope, not watching it. Not watching it. I'm going to throw all my toys out the pram, just like Mr. Jimmy Fix-It, and I'm going to say this is a complete contrivance, and I'm not going to watch it. No, you're not going to make me watch it either. I'm not going to watch it. Oh my God. Bring back Sepang, says Planet. Yes, indeed. Love that circuit. I want Sepang in Malaysia back on the calendar. It's the best circuit ever. Congratulations to ShaneBot.exe on leaving the comments all the time. Good God. I also want India back on the calendar. The Buddha circuit is a good circuit as well. Yeah, that was decent. I like the Buddha circuit. Next week is the end of the Top of the Pops in 1999. Westlife for the Christmas #1. Oh my God. Sergio Perez and Pedro Rodriguez, solid team for Mexico. Correct, Pessy. Cadillac are now last, lol, says Will F1. Only team with 0 points. Oh, poor Cadillac. Poor Cadillac. I think I've said it in a previous video. I'm not so sure how long Cadillac are going to stay in Formula 1. Because when you do a whole season with 0 points, and I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen to Cadillac, unfortunately, I don't think they're going to score any points. It's a real downer on sort of team morale and, getting it together. So I'm not quite sure how long they're going to be in this for the long term, to be honest. Don't forget, Haas, the last Formula 1 team to enter as a new team in 2016, scored 39 points in their first year, and that was on the same point system that we've got today, I do believe. Yes, it is. They scored 39 points. So, yeah, not a single point on the board at the moment for Cadillac. And Cadillac are a new team. You can't count Audi because they were already a previous team. But Cadillac are a completely brand new team. And they've got nil par points on the board, which I think is it's going to be a problem. It's hard to keep up the momentum. It's hard to keep up the enthusiasm when you've got 0 points. I hope before the end of the season, Cadillac get... I'd love to see them do like a Minardi and get 1 point on the board before the end of the season. I think that would be just that 1 point would be great morale and keep their spirits high. But sadly, I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen because they haven't been anywhere sort of near the top 10. Although, some of them have got close, but not actually getting there. So we will see. Who knows? Might throw up a funny sprint round and they might end up with some points in a sprint. Who knows? Could be a race with a lot of collisions in it and they could end up in the points. Be great to see, but unfortunately at the moment, if it continues as it does, I don't think Cadillac will score a single point in their debut season, which is going to be pretty bad for them. As I say, if you compare them with Haas, who had 39 points in 2016, their first year. Damon Hill was on 5 Live commentating the Monaco race. Was he really? I didn't know that. Due to the fact that sympathy Liam Lawson being kicked out of Red Bull and they see him as a leader. Shane says, I do love the Adelaide Street Circuit, even though I never got to see them race there since I was born in 1998. But the street circuit is not suited for the current F1 cars as it needs small cars. Yeah, Adelaide was great circuit, Shane, was great. But unfortunately, a lot of things happened with Adelaide. One of those is the circuit was sort of getting into a state of disrepair, and they weren't really keeping up with with the things on the circuit that needed to be done. And the other problem with Adelaide was where it was in Australia, it was a horribly dusty circuit. You'd get dust in everything, all inside the engine. So it was a real struggle for the teams to actually get a full race in, because you used to get the engines clogged up with dust. Because oh my god, I think they replicate that on the F1 game, if you remember that you can see there's bits of dust on the side of the track. I think in the first game at least there was bits of dust. I can't remember, because I think it's only a bonus track on F1 97, but definitely on the first game you can see there's like bits of dust on the outside of the circuit, just to show you how dusty it was. But it was a great circuit. I loved it. Will says Race Day Cafe. Oh my god. Did anyone see that podcast? I can't remember what it's called, but it turned up in my feed, because obviously I follow a lot of F1 stuff. I don't even follow this actual podcast, but it turned up in my feed, and they invited Race Day Cafe on, and it was 5 lads, I'm going to say, and they all dressed up in French-made costumes, and they invited Race Day Cafe on, and she just looked so uncomfortable. It was not funny. She just looked so uncomfortable. I can't even remember what the thing's called. Something podcast. Let me see if I've got it in my history. Go to your history. I was only watching it last night. Where is it? There it is.
Jeremy likes to spend...
Oh, we've got adverts. Let me mute the sound a minute. They're called the Crash Happy Podcast. I don't know if any of you guys have heard of them. I've never heard of them, but here they are, and they invited Race Day Cafe on, and as you can see, they all dressed up in French-made costumes. And not only that, but a lot of them had bunny ears as well. And as I say, I did what, as you can see, this is how much I got into this podcast. 11 minutes and 55 seconds, because I couldn't watch anymore. It was too much even for me. I couldn't watch anymore. But they all dressed, and she was just... Let me see if I can go back to the start, in fact, and you can see. As you can see from that picture, she just looks so uncomfortable. I did enjoy it, the 11 minutes and 55 seconds that I watched of it, but yeah. I've no idea why they decided to dress up like that. I don't know. I've no idea. They obviously thought it was funny. I don't know. But anyway, there you go. The Crash Happy Podcast. If you want to check that out, then, please feel free to do so. It's a very long podcast. Says the Hookster with his 2-hour podcast. It's an hour and 11 minutes long in total. I'm sorry, but I can't get through an hour and 11 minutes watching 5 guys dressed up in French-made outfits. That's even too weird for me, and trust me, I'm very weird, but I can't do it. No, I can't do it. No. If Race Day Cafe was let's move on before I get taken off YouTube. Hang on, I've got to get rid of the... There we go. Right. Charles Leclerc ain't got rhythm, says Mr. Fugara. The regs are even allowing us to see a decent Monaco Grand Prix. Good for you, Formula One. Will says, regs are shite. Shane says, will they ever build a circuit in Qatar for Formula One to race at to replace the Lusail International Circuit they race at as a bike track? I don't know. They might do. Mario Kart Formula One regs still rock, says Mr. Vergara. Ah, God. Have you heard, Dave, there's going to be a Toy Story Retro Roundup and Toy Story 3 Complete Edition coming out in October, Dave? It's a remastered Toy Story games for 1995. I didn't know that, Shane. I didn't know that. No, I didn't know that. I know Toy Story 5's coming out. Is it this year? Yes. I'm very annoyed with Toy Story. Shall I tell you my Toy Story story? Shall I? Yes. I'm very annoyed with Toy Story because they brought out Toy Story 4. Yes. And they promoted it saying, this is going to be the last one. This is going to be the last one. And I thought to myself, okay, I'm not going to watch it then. Because I don't want to be in a world where there's no Toy Story. And once I've seen Toy Story 4, then that world will be a world where there's no Toy Story. So I didn't watch Toy Story 4. I didn't watch Toy Story 4 for 2 years. And then what happened? Oh, it's okay, guys. We're going to make a Toy Story 5. And I was going, you bastards. You bastard cockwombles. I spent 2 years not watching Toy Story, and now you're going to make another one. And now I've heard there's going to be a Toy Story 6. I'm absolutely full of rage. Full of rage that they did that to me. They made me not watch Toy Story 4. And now I'm not going to watch Toy Story 5 just in case but it's not going to be the last one. So I can watch it because they already said they're going to make another one. Yes. Because let's face it, if Tom Hanks kicks the bucket, let's hope he doesn't, but if he does, he'll just get his brother to do it because his brother's voice is exactly the same as Tom Hanks. Have you noticed that? Yes. In fact, his brother does all the toys merchandising, all the voices. So he could just do it. So, it's not really a problem, is it? They could make Toy Story for the next 50 years, possibly. I don't know about Tim Allen, though. He's getting on a bit. Could they do another Buzz Lightyear? Could there be another Tim Allen Buzz? Yeah, I'm sure they could. They could find some kind of impressionist to do it as good, surely. So, yeah, they can make Toy Story now for the next 50 years. And I'm very disappointed. They lied to me. They told me 4 was the last one, and it wasn't. And I didn't watch it for 2 years. Bastards. Anyway, let's get off Toy Story. Let's move on. And the remastered version of Toy Story 3. There's the popular opinion for Vettel Hamilton the 2026 regulations are good. 2026 rigs are crap, says Will F1. I'm looking forward to these games coming out this October. Lionel Plessy says John Lacey, and on his 31st birthday he won his only race in Canada. Oh yes, I remember that. Well done to John Lacey, a one-time race winner. Fantastic. Lacey would have been a world champion if he didn't end up at Williams in 1991. True. Absolutely furious, says Will F1. Damn. Shane says, do you remember what we've been fighting about in the chat, Dave? No idea, Shane. Plana Pussy says Hookster was 25 when he watched the 1950 British Grand Prix live. 1950. Hold me, TB. Hold me. They're being horrible to me, TB. They keep taking the piss out of my age, saying I'm very, very old. You are very, very old. Bloody bears. Go back over there. Do you also find it funny when you fight in the chat? I do. Mr. Regard says, you know you're in a good place, and the biggest criticism of your Vegs as an 8-time race winner and runner-up saying it's like playing the best racing video game. Yes. Jason Statham was born in 1967, says Whip. Oh no. Dave's been exposed. Dave's been exposed. No, shh. Will, shh. Look, 1967. Okay, it's very close to 1969. Yeah. It's like 2 years, which is it's a blink of an eye, really. Will, it's 100. What is it? 112 weekends. That's all it is. Yeah. So it's nothing. Will, it's nothing really. Yes, it's no 112. 100. I don't know. It's quite a few weekends anyway. Will, that's all it is. So I'm very close. Let's put it this way: I'm very, very, very close to the same age as Jason Statham. Yes. How old is Jason Statham? Now, here you go, Will. Here you go. See, he's 59 on his next birthday in July. He's 59. Okay, so I'm 57, almost 58. Almost 58. Yes, almost 58. Well, next April I'll be 58. But I'm 57, so I'm almost 58, Will. So it's only really a year difference, isn't it, really, if you look at it like that? Because he's 58, I'm 57, almost 58. So it's basically just a year difference, isn't it, really? So I stand by what I said. I'm the same age as Jason Statham, almost, Will. Almost. As I say, I'm very nearly 58, and he's very nearly 50. So yeah, I know. I stand by it. I stand by it, Will. I think I got away with it. I'm not quite sure, but I think I got away with it. You know your regs are in a good place. They are not good. So, Private Player says, do you know Jason Statham once narrated a documentary about Le Mans? I didn't know that. It was called Truth in 24. Wowzers. Pretty Noseby Lunch. Baby talk. Unfortunately, there are a couple of clowns on X that will not allow us to feel that way. Planet Player says the Hookster was 70 when John O'Lacey won his only Grand Prix. The Hookster was 52 when the Atari... I'm only laughing because I do remember when the Atari 2600 came out. But I was not 52. I was, God knows, 7, 8, something like that. Hookster was 52 when the Atari 2600 came out. Jackie Stewart used to do the Indy 500 on ABC in the 70s and 80s. Fantastic. But as Nicki Minaj said, when they don't allow us to speak our mind, we will speak it. Correct. What would it be like if somebody used baby talk to you? No idea, Shane. No idea. I don't know. Get Kim Kardashian on this all. Well, she's got to turn up, hasn't she? Old Kim. Now she nicked a towel at Monaco. She's got to turn up. I have done this week's already, I have to say. I've got one for next week, which has been mentioned several times in the chat. I'm just going to write that down to remind myself, but then we'll put Kim K. Kardashian. So look out for it in possibly 2 or 3 weeks' time. Kim Kardashian. Yes. Pretty knows me lunch. Pretty knows you lunch. Since I love cars, trucks, vans, buses, bicycles, and motorcycles, I also love horses and horse-drawn vehicles. Oh, you must love Red Dead Redemption then, Shane. If you must love that game because that's full of horses. Yes. Private Pleasure says faults on Kim Kardashian ignoring Martin Brundle. Ah, yes. Now I didn't see this, of course, because I don't get Sky, but I did see it on the YouTubes later on. My faults. I think Will Buxton possibly summed it up best on his Up to Speed podcast when he said, "Was that all just a setup?" Because Martin Brundle is more famous now for people not talking to him than people actually talking to him. So I'm just wondering whether that was a bit of setup. As Will said, did Lewis have a word with Kim before and say, oh, if you meet up with Martin, make sure you don't talk to him because it makes better press. I'm not sure. I'm not sure myself, but yeah, I'm not a fan of celebrities coming on to a Formula One grid and then ignoring the host of this Formula One grid that's been in the sport for very many years now and as a driver himself. I'm not a fan of that, I have to say. I'm not a fan of that. That just shows a complete lack of disrespect. Now, of course, this is not the first time. The other famous one I remember was Cara Delevingne or whatever her bloody name is. I can't remember, where she refused to talk to Martin Brundle. And I still to this day have no idea why. But she did. She refused to talk to Martin Brundle. And it just brings an air of stuck-upness, snobbish behaviour that I'm not a fan of. As you know, I've spoken many times about my belief in equality for everyone. So to do that kind of thing just sort of, certainly puts in your mind that she's one of the, elite class, hardy, well, I'm so much bigger than you. And then, of course, she goes and nicks a towel, which I find quite bizarre. I'm sure she's got enough cash to buy her own towels. So why she didn't see the need to nick one, I've no idea. Maybe she's been in so many hotels when she just basically nicks all the towels when she walks out. I don't know. It's like automatic now, and she's on default. Even at a Formula One racetrack, she's got to nick the towels. Yeah, got to take the towels. It's like automatic now. She can't stop herself. Got to nick the towels. So I don't know, but yes. So not a fan of the snubbing at the racetrack. But as I say, I still don't know whether that was that is starting to become a setup now, where it's more popular not to talk to Martin than it is to. But to be honest, I don't see the point of that, because you only end up looking like a complete knobhead, which is basically what Cara Delevingne or whatever her bloody name is. She just looked, oh my God, horrible. And I understand from looking around the internet that she's not a very nice person anyway, to be honest. So, it's to be expected. Kim Kardashian, I've got no idea whether she's a nice person or not, because I really don't follow the Kardashians or anything to do with that circle. So I've no idea whether she's a good person or not. But it just stinks of snobbery of the highest order, and I'm really not a fan of that whatsoever. So yeah, not good. I also love camels and donkeys, says Shay. Nice. They'll grow on the regs the same the way they did on the Halo. True. To be honest, fastest lap point was pretty good. Should not have been removed. Super Clippers! Now, if there's something I want removed from the English language, it's super clipping. Hopefully they'll get rid of that by next year. The same as they did with porpoising. Another word I was hoping they were going to remove from the English language, or at least in Formula One. And thankfully that word is now gone. We never hear that word anymore, porpoising. And I'm hoping super clipping is going to be the next one that they just get rid of, because I can't stand it. Really can't stand it. Oh, there's my first timer, which means I've been nattering for too long again. Okay. Verstappen had 19 wins in 2023. Mad ring, lol. Since you want Argentina back on the calendar, Dave, there are rumours saying that Buenos Aires could be returned to the calendar in 2027, 2028 or 2029. Nice. Not one race below 7 out of 10 for me this year so far. I don't regret bringing race ratings to my somewhat cruel room. It's kind of worked. Plumper says the 80s were ruined near the end when Jive Bunny entered. Oh, Jive Bunny. Jive Bunny. Yes. Interesting, says Mr. Regara. Will says only Miami and Canada deserve more than a 5 out of 10. Plumper says on the 26th of June, BBC 4 are showing Top of the Pops from 2000. Nice. 2000 is the last year before Pop Idol and Fame Academy entered the charts, so I'll just enjoy it while it lasts. Yes. Mr. Regard says Monaco 7, Australia 7.5, China 8 and Japan 8. Since you mentioned Dave about Qatar and the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, we talked about last week about what F1 looked like the last time it didn't race in the Middle East. Definitely not, sir, says Will. These clowns on X calling the racing artificial, but they probably enjoy racing Baby Park. 20 years was also when Top of the Pops got cancelled. That explains it. Yes. Minus 2,000 of the clowns on the failed investment of Elon Musk. That Calvin Harris song at number 40 is on Forza Horizons. Ah, there you go, you see. I knew it would be some kind of link to either an advert or a TV show or a computer game. And there we have the confirmation. Calvin Harris, correct. Also, last week, says Shane, you mentioned we need a tyre war in Formula 1 because there's only one tyre supply ever since 2007. Yes, we do, Shane. We need to get Dave to do Countdown, the 1999 Christmas charts. Yes, we do. We do. Even Caledonia in his Caterham at least has legit reasons why he didn't like the regs, as does Helium Trophy. Jermaine, thank you, Plynal. I knew you'd come up with the trumps. Jermaine Jackson. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's still going, isn't he? Or did he die? I can't remember. Yeah, it's okay. He's still alive. He's 71, but he's still alive. Jermaine Jackson, that's it. TNY still has the decorators in, says Will F1. Nice. Nice. I love that. Plumber says the Michael Jackson film is probably why that Jackson 5 song made it. Oh, yes, the Michael Jackson film. I forgot about that. That's why it come out recently. That's why all those Michael Jackson songs are in the... God. That explains that. But what about the Fleetwood Mac ones? Why are they in the charts? I'm not quite sure. But yeah, Michael Jackson explains all that. I get it now. But of course, that's nothing new. You used to have that in the charts back in the 80s and the 90s. If you had like an advert or a TV show and they used that song, you used to get it back into the charts. That's nothing new. The one that got away is about Russell Brand. Whoopsie. Whoopsie. He'll be the one not getting away in October. Yes. We will see, everyone. We will see. Ray, the modern Amy Winehouse. Oh, really? I didn't know that. I missed the 2000s and the 2010s. Yes, me too, Shane. Will F1 gaming scores have been pretty damn good this year. Human Nature Classic. Beat it, Michael Jackson. I almost became a singer, songwriter and musician. Nice one, Shane. Billie Jean is not my love. Which meant I would have been famous. Yes, it would have been, Shane. You've been almost as famous as me. Wowzers. Wowzers, says someone. But I've just lost the chat again. Where did someone say wowzers? Blimey, where's the wowzers gone? Where's the wowzers? Wowzers. I saw wowzers. I saw wow. There we go. Me trousers. There it is. Me trousers. Got it. This is the Formula I remembered. Oh, look. Here's his sisters. He's finally decided to turn up after watching the footy. World Cup opening day today. Yeah, I did say during the stream that I meant suddenly remember because I saw it on Sky News that it was the World Cup opening day. So probably not a good day to stream, but never mind. I'm all done now. He's here. Yes. Oh, great. The goat's here. Bring back the Winfield Williams. No. No, Mr. Lionel Plessy. We do not want the Winfield Williams. Yes, no. He'll never be the GOAT. Russell deserved another penalty for that disgraceful blocking he did. Yeah, I know. What the hell was he doing there? I don't know. No idea what he was trying to achieve there, but he certainly put signs out of the race. Have mercy on Russell, guys. He had bad luck like Khalid. GOAT of Yorkshire doesn't mean GOAT overall, Will. Exactly, Paddock69. Recap me on the yak you've been spouting about tonight. Well, okay. Well, it started really badly. I was talking about the Felipe Massa case again. Then I was talking about Lulu. And then I veered wildly off topic onto Race Day Cafe. And then I started talking about Top of the Pops, which was even more off topic. Then I went and looked at the current top 40 chart rundown, which was even more off topic. And that's basically every single Thursday show that I do. Yes. I'm supposed to be talking about Formula One, but sometimes I do go a little bit off topic. But anyway, let's move on. I think you'll find it does. Damn. I might be... Oh, there we go. There's the 2-hour timer up. That's it, everyone. I might do a video on YouTube someday about the history of cancelled F1 races. Nice, Shane. Great. Avocados from Mexico. I've talked to them before. They are decent lads, mostly. Ah, you're talking about the that podcast I was showing. Yeah. I can't remember what the podcast was called now, but... Oh, okay. Okay. Well, it's all right. I didn't... I wasn't saying anything because I've never seen them before, so I can't judge. I was judging them purely on the fact that they decided to turn up in 5 French-made costumes and have Race Day Cafe on. That's the context I was talking to them about. Yes, I didn't quite understand why they do that to Race Day Cafe because, as I said earlier, she was very, very uncomfortable. She did settle down. I only got 11 minutes into it because I can't look at 5 men dressed up in French made uniforms. It's too weird even for me. And trust me, I'm very weird, but that's too much even for me. But as I say, when she came on at the start, she looked very, very uncomfortable indeed. Very, very uncomfortable indeed. But as to the 5 lads, I can't say anything about them because I've never seen them before. It just turned up in my feed because I do follow a lot of Formula One stuff, and sometimes channels turn up that I don't even know anything about. It's quite handy actually because I've seen some really quite good channels in the past few months that have popped up. So YouTube's obviously recommending them to me for some unknown reason. I don't know. I'd guess they are. This is a solid podcast. Well, thank you, Mr. Rugara. Wow. Hannah Atkinson. Yes, Will. Jack Nichols. No, Will. He can't anyway. He's flipping burgers in the Wimpy. Pretty Noseby Lunch. Cool. Hannah Atkinson. Cool. You just wanted me to say that out loud in my pervy voice, didn't you? Cool. Hannah Atkinson. Cool. 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 Race Day Cafe. Cool. Cool. Jess McFadden. Cool. Cool. Wait a minute. I've just got to... Hang on a minute, everyone. I've got a message here from YouTube. Dear Mr. Hook, stop being a dirty little perv or we're going to cut this stream in the next 30 seconds. Oh, Hannah Atkinson. She's nice. Yes, she's Race Day Cafe. She's nice. She's nice. Jess McFadden. She's nice. She's nice. Please don't cut me off, YouTube. Please, please. I'm being good. I promise I'm being good. I am being good. Yes. 3 was more than enough Toy Story, says this. Yeah, I do agree with you. And I say I waited 2 years to watch 4, and I have to say I was I was pretty disappointed. It wasn't a patch on the third one. Let's put it that way. It wasn't a patch on the third one. I have to admit, as you say, I think the third one was quite possibly the perfect Toy Story, and I think if they hadn't have made any more, it would have been the perfect end, I think, to the Toy Story franchise. But obviously, money is king, and they went and made another one. Now they've made another one, and they've said that they're going to make a number 6 as well at some point in the future. I mean, they come out, every 7 years? It's going to be a long time before we see Toy Story 6. Let's put it that way. Andre Harrison called it all. Norris champion, good regs for 2026, Aston Martin in the dirt. Jack Nichols must be on this all season's rubbish. No, Plynal, no. Agreed, Paddock69. Correct, Plynal. I don't know if we'll ever get classic tracks in an F1 game. We haven't got classic tracks in an F1 game since 2013. I don't think we will, Shane. I don't think we will. If Norris ends up being champion, Regal, I'll eat a sock. Good. Regal also called Norris win the championship for 2025, even though he was told not to. David Croft is attending Download Festival. Oh, nice. Nice. Still, though, the best thing about this was when Van Verstappen did not go and get his second place. Norris was gifted the championship. I know, Dave, I think Toy Story is going to go on forever. Oh, it will do, Shane. It will do. Lando Norris needed all the luck possible to scrape a championship. And they said he was so sick like Neo. Hey, I mean, however you win a championship, throw TB's clothes in the bin, says Will F1. Some people have already forgotten that he's a championship champion. They have, me included. I thought you remember that we've been fighting the chat stations, been saying about it the past few weeks. Yes. You've probably forgotten every British champion other than Hamilton, Clark and Stewart. Yes. Including me, Will. Like, for example, Sinbad, Marina and Spike. Yes, I remember, Shane, I remember. There's no way as the GOAT and a huge McLaren fan you forgot that. Hookster was born in April 1925. Says Will F1. Thank you, Will. Citizen says, correction, 17... Okay, time to go, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me tonight. That's like saying Nigel Mansell is a 4 times world champion. If you get the chance, can you look up Sinbad carrying a shoulder spot and Google images? I will do, Shane, yes. No, I mean, guess he's a 2 times champion of sorts. Dave cannot be trusted on Google images, so we won't be looking that up. Dave cannot be trusted on Google images. That's actually true. That's actually true. I have to use Google images all the time for a certain other person's YouTube channel for the of the weeks. Yes, you should see my download folder. It is absolutely chock full of pictures of failed F1 drivers. Yes, yes. You'd think there'd be other pictures in my downloads folder, but no. No, if anyone saw my downloads folder, they'd think I was a complete sad bastard because I have all these pictures of these failed F1 drivers. So yeah, I have to use Google Images a lot. In fact, when I click on the internet, it says Google Images and it says underneath, you visit this site many, many times. And I'm like, all right, calm down. There's no need to take the piss. I know I visit this site many, many times. You have to put it in writing for me. Because he won IndyCar. Dustin is a Dalek, says Matthew. Yes, he is. Shane, look up the meaning of the word. Bernie Collins did a great job on Sky last week, says Plynal. Yes. How can Dave not be trusted on Google Images? It's a long story. Shane. Norris giving respect to the top racers, he won the championship. Why should I look up the meaning of the word? The same way Eminem, I've lost the plot now. Eminem gave respect to the top rappers until I collapsed. No wonder he finished it. What would it be like if the Belgian Grand Prix at Spa was the season finale? Martin Brundle at Monaco 2025 said, it's all right, mate. I'm in charge around here. Lol. Nice. Oh, NM, finish on the same list too, because it describes yourself, Jane. I do love Red Dead Redemption. Good. So do I, Shane. So do I. Red Dead Redemption is kind of cool, yes. How does it describe myself? Demented Shamebot.exe. No. Lulu needs to split up with that lunatic. Ignore it. What lunatic? Kim K, yes. Piastri will win a championship at some stage. Maybe 2030. Lewis Hamilton is a melt, says Will. Time for the Hookster to speed through the comments. I'm doing it. One of the only things I disagree with the GOAT is that Miami's a solid racetrack. Pretty knows me lunch. Good. Shamebot.exe. Keep doing your thing. What thing? Miami is dreadful. And I've lost the chat again. There we go. Miami is dreadful. These race fans just don't like change, to be honest, says Mr. Regala. They all want these new things and then dislike all of them. Michael Jackson, says Shane, died in 2009. Yes, he did. Wow, it seems a very long time ago now. Citizen says, Michael loved to beat it a lot. Stop it now. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. He did. Good God, Scissor Sisters. Blind Play says, Winfield Williams must be... No. Delivery was better than the car. Well, that's true. It was better than the car, yeah. It must, Plynal, says Will. No. Possibly Plynal. Plynal says, F1 is boring. Le Mans is on. I'll be watching that. The footy had more red cards than goals. Nice. So if I became famous by becoming a singer, songwriter, musician, so many fans would like... Yes, they would, Shane. They would. What was the score? Plessy sleep with one eye open. 2-0 Mexico. 3 red cards in one match. The 2022 World Cup had 4 red cards overall. Mexico 2-0. Then there were 3 red cards in the game. One of the players who had a red card was called Sithole. I hope I'm reading that right. Yeah, Sithole. Sithole. That's very close to the win, that one, isn't it? Sithole. I can think of another name for it. Yes, me too. Correct, Flar. Just to think who would be a fan of me for the song I sing. Yes, lots of people, Shane. You'd be loved by millions, mate. I don't know. Mick Jagger? YouTube are going to cut this off. They are. Like the BBC did to Top Gear once. Yes, red is my favourite colour. Nice one, Shane. James, what are you going to do? Cut us all off? Oh, they have. Hi, hello, Scott. Welcome to the madness of the stream. Yes, I'm very well, thanks, mate. Get the Hookster on the all... Yes, he needs to come on, doesn't he? He's a celebrity in himself. McLaren did not want Piastri to become champion. That's too bad. Lando Norris, MGS. McLaren Golden Shower. Shane reviewed Sinbad on his YouTube channel, says Lionel Plessy. Yes, he did. Hookster has watched almost every Indy 500 ever. Yes. Will says, fixed. Fixed. Let's not get started on that one. Let's not get started, Will. Hookster was 67 years old in 1992. How do you know I reviewed Sinbad on my YouTube channel? Which YouTube channel, Plynal? I'm waiting for the 40 championship. Me too. Won't be long. I think I'm going to do it as a summer series. You know, when the kids are off school, which I've no idea when that is. End of July, is it? I think I'll start it then. I want to do it kind of continuously, if I can, till the end. All I can tell you is that it's 17 rounds long. That's all I can tell you. It's 17 rounds long, and but I want to see if I can do it as like I don't want to do it every day because people will get bored with it. But like every other day, if I can, every other day. I'd like to do that until it gets to the end. But I'd like to do it during the summer. Get a few more views in, and show these youngsters what we used to have to play back in the day of 1995. But don't worry, it is coming. It is definitely coming. The Shane Coburn, that's right, the Shane Splunk. The last time a Grand Prix was on the 14th of June was in 1992 in Canada, which was meant to be the 2020, but COVID played a part. Yes, it did, Scott. Yes, it did. Have you watched my review of Sinbad Legend of the Seven Seas? Spam, ham, eggs, cheese. Michael was a very bad boy, says this. Really? Was he? Sithole had a sit time. Yes, he did. 40 didn't even do more than 40 races in F1. 40 are the best team in it. I agree. Best team in F1. And when they came in 1995 with that 40 fold, they were unbeatable. And the FIA, as I say, they had to put that restrictor on the car, otherwise it would have won the championship, which is a shame. But there you go. And unfortunately, in the game, it's still got the restrictor on, so it doesn't do very well. But there you go. The motoring Yorkshireman has the old font. Yes. The 40 livery is the yellow peril. Yes. They didn't even do 30 races. Fixed. Have you got the chance? Did they have 40 retirements? Ah, I like it. That's punny. Did they have 40 retirements? When are you going to upload the F1 2021 Carmen Jordan White? I've no idea where that is now, Will. I don't know where that is. I've got it somewhere. I've got the rest of that season somewhere, but I don't know where it is now. I think it's on my old computer still, which still works, so it's not lost. But oh my god, how long ago was that now? Oh, you're telling me 2021? Yeah, yeah, that'll be on sometime. Never. Have you watched my review of Sinbad Legends of the Seven Seas, Dave? Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did. Jane, I can't remember. Mike Walker actually recorded a line for 40 winning a race. Yes, he did. Well, he had to, just in case they did, but obviously that was never going to happen. I'm still waiting for my cut of the views money for coming up with the idea. Look, I told you, it's in the post. It's in the post. Yes, your cut of the views money is in the post. I've sent it on a slow boat from China. So it'll be a while before it gets to you, but I've sent it. So don't worry, you'll get it soon. Don't worry. Royalties. Toto Wolf says equal engines. Yes. I'm an F1 champion, Toto. He actually said that a few months ago as Diniz won at Monaco. Lando Norris is washed. It was rumoured that the 1995 40 was an update on the 1992 Fond Metal due to it looking a bit similar. Yes. Not uploaded a video of that series since January 2023. Oh, it's not that long ago. I could still bring that back if it's not that long ago. But I'll say I've no idea where it is. I think it's on the old computer. I do know I've still got it though, because I remember seeing it at some point. So it's not lost. It's just on the other computer. Fond Metal didn't last very long either. Though in 1992 the car showed competitiveness. In one race in 1992, Gabriele Tarquini got the third fastest lap. Nor did the Hookster's Virgin team. Boom. TMY got his mum to do his predictions. I still haven't seen that yet. Well, I must get on and see that, because I don't usually watch the prediction videos. But I'll see what you're on about, because everyone keeps talking about that. So the fact that everyone keeps talking about it means she probably did a better job than Josh. So if I were you, everyone, when he makes his next video, I'd just spam in the comments, bring your mum back and sack yourself. Yeah, just say that to him every time in the comments. Bring your mum back and sack yourself. That's what he needs to do, because she's getting more exposure than he is. So there you go. Caddy Cadillac, says Will. Bring back the Virgin Racing team. Yes. So you know what I look like if you watch my review of Sinbad's. Yes, I do, Shane. And on that note, it's time for me to go, everyone. Dave would get a lifetime contract. Yes. Lifetime contract. Yes, I would. Yes, I would. Right, here we go, everyone. It's time for this week's top fans before I end up still streaming at midnight, which is getting very close right now. Here we go then. I am pressing the button right now. That's it. Game over. Spamming won't work anymore because I've pressed the button. Here is the top fans. And this week we have 7 people still in the chat. So we're looking good. Considering the World Cup has just started, still doing good. We've still got a top 7. So here we go. At number 7 it is. At number 7 it is. At number 7 it. Where the hell's it gone? Has it all gone? Has everyone gone? Ah, there we go. At number 7 it is. It's Scott Barnes. Well done, Scott. Late entry in, but you are still on the board at number 7. Number 6 goes to. It's Matthew 7657. Well done to Matthew. At number 5, we have it's the Scissor Sisters, another late entry into the show, but he's still on the board, 5th position. Yeah, pretty much a McLaren performance this season. Oh, come on, I couldn't resist that. It had to happen. At number 4, we have it's the Master of Mirth, Lionel Plessy. So here we go then. Here's the top 3. At number 3, it's Mr. Rugara, fantastic, which means in 2nd place, it's going to be it's Shane Coburn 2023, which means in 1st position once again with no monetary contribution adding to his top space whatsoever. It's Will F1, the greatest Yorkshireman currently in the UK. The number 1 Yorkshireman in the UK is Will F1. Unfortunately, Josh is number 59, and at number 58, it's Peter Sutcliffe. So he definitely needs to pull his finger out to get a bit higher in that rating. But there you go. Will is this week's top fan again for the show. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Right, let's put my picture back and make it smaller. That's what she says. And I'd just like to say thank you everyone for joining me tonight. It's over. Here we go. At number 7 it is. Another Yorkshireman win. Yes, Scott Barnes gets points. Paddock 69, best results in a little while. More wins than Roland will get this season. Solid, respectable result. Watch him still the championship. Will F1 Gamers win the title with 6 rounds to go. At 57, it's Jim will fix it. Yes. Yes, Jim will fix it. I don't know why I made myself that small. But there you go. At 57. Yes. Anyway, thank you everyone for joining me tonight. And from me, and Mr. TB the Bear, everyone's favourite. Look at him, look, he's just so huggable. Everyone wants to squeeze the life out of TB the Bear. Yes, there he is. Thank you, TB. What's that? Yes, we know you're the star of the show, but, you know, have to give me a chance sometimes, you know. Bloody hell. Anyway, thank you everyone for joining me tonight. It is, of course, the Barcelona Grand Prix. One of my friends who, if anyone's watched my ERL live streams, will probably know the name Jamie. He is actually going to the Barcelona Grand Prix. He got tickets right at the last second, apparently. Bastard. So he will be there at the Barcelona Grand Prix. Yes, one of the ERL members will be at the Barcelona Grand Prix this weekend. So there you go. There you go. A little bit of. I'm not impressed. He could have taken me with him. I could have just fitted into his little suitcase because, you know, I'm pretty good. I just need a tiny sip of water every 4 or 5 hours, and I'm good to go. That's all I need. Just a little tiny sip of water every 4 or 5 hours, and I'm good to go. So yeah, I could have gone with him, but he didn't take me. So I'm very, very annoyed about that. TB the Bear, TB Naked, TB is playing Take Over the He is. One of these days, the stream will come up and it'll just be TB. Who did he have to fondle to afford him? Yeah, who did he have to fondle? That's right. It was last minute, literally last minute. He's literally just said in one of the chats a couple of hours ago, before I came on air, that he just got the tickets for Barcelona. Unfortunately, he won't be able to see all the race because his plane leaves pretty much before the end of the race, so he won't be able to see. I think he said he's going to be able to watch the first 10 minutes of the race, I think, and then he's going to have to leave the circuit to catch the plane back, which I think the plane takes off just as the last lap is on. It's going to be happening at Barcelona. I think that's how he timed it right. So he's only going to watch. He's going to be able to watch the first 10 minutes of the race, and that's it. But he will be there. He'll be there for practice, and he'll be there for the qualifying as well. So there you go. Anyway, thank you very much. The catering was probably parked at the World Cup. It managed to make it to Mexico. It didn't qualify. Anyway, thank you everyone. Awesome as always. Thank you for joining me tonight. Yes, it's the Grand Prix from Barcelona. Barcelona this weekend. Enjoyed the race. It's not going to be very good though, because that track's not really very good for. I'd be very intrigued to see how the super clipping works, because that very long straight, that's where they're going to run out of power. So I'd like to see how that works out. But apart from that, not a very good circuit, to be honest. But anyway, we will persevere. Thank you everyone for joining me tonight on Hookster Talks, and I will catch you as I always do for the results on my shorts channel. The results of the qualifying and the race, and of course the all seasons on Saturday, which is the season finale of season 1, if anybody cares. And I'll be back next week. Thank you very much, and good night. Yes, Barcelona is a solid racetrack. Yes, it is. Just not very good for racing on, but solid racetrack. Hookster Talks. Yes, Hookster's now going to stop talking because it's time for me to go. Thank you very much, everyone. Awesome as always, and I'll catch you in the next one. Good night.